Imagination is everything. It is the preview of life's coming attractions. Visualization, or the act of creating compelling and vivid pictures in your mind, may be the most underutilized success tool you possess because it greatly accelerates the achievement of any success in three powerful ways. Visualization activates the creative powers of your subconscious mind. Visualization focuses your brain by programming its reticular activating system, REST, to notice available resources that were always there but were previously unnoticed. Visualization magnetizes and attracts to you the people, resources, and opportunities you need to achieve your goal. When you perform any task in real life, researchers have found your brain uses the same identical processes it would use if you were only vividly visualizing that activity. In other words, your brain sees no difference whatsoever between visualizing something and actually doing it. This principle also applies to learning anything new. Researchers found that students who visualized in advance performed tasks with nearly 100% accuracy, whereas students who didn't visualize achieved only 55% accuracy. Visualization simply makes the brain achieve more. And though none of us were ever taught this in school, sports psychologists and peak performance experts have been popularizing the power of visualization since the 1980s. Almost all Olympic and professional athletes now employ the power of visualization. A legendary golfer with more than 100 tournament victories and over 5.7 million in winnings once said, "I never hit a shot, not even in practice, without having a very sharp, in-focus picture of it in my head. It's like a color movie. First, I see where I want it to finish, nice and white and sitting high on the bright green grass. Then the scene quickly changes and I see the ball going there, its path, trajectory, and shape, even its behavior on landing. Then there's sort of a fade out, and the next scene shows me making the kind of swing that will turn the previous images into reality." How visualization works to enhance performance. When you visualize your goals as already complete each and every day, it creates a conflict in your subconscious mind between what you are visualizing and what you currently have. Your subconscious mind tries to resolve that conflict by turning your current reality into the new, more exciting vision. This conflict, when intensified over time through constant visualization, actually causes three things to happen. It programs your brain's RAS to start letting into your awareness anything that will help you achieve your goals. It activates your subconscious mind to create solutions for getting the goals you want. You'll start waking up in the morning with new ideas. You'll find yourself having ideas in the shower while you are taking long walks and while you are driving to work. It creates new levels of motivation. You'll start to notice you are unexpectedly doing things that take you to your goal. All of a sudden, you are raising your hand in class, volunteering to take on new assignments at work, speaking out at staff meetings, asking more directly for what you want, saving money for the things that you want, paying down a credit card debt, or taking more risks in your personal life. Let's take a closer look at how the RAS works. At any one time, there are about 8 million bits of information streaming into your brain, most of which you cannot attend to, nor do you need to. So your brain's RAS filters most of them out, letting into your awareness only those signals that can help you survive and achieve your most important goals. So how does your RAS know what to let in and what to filter out? It lets in anything that will help you achieve the goals you have set and constantly visualize and affirm. It also lets in anything that matches your beliefs and images about yourself, others, and the world. The RAS is a powerful tool, but it can only look for ways to achieve the exact pictures you give it. Your creative subconscious doesn't think in words, it can only think in pictures. So how does this help your effort to become successful and achieve the life of your dreams? When you give your brain specific, colorful, and vividly compelling pictures to manifest, it will seek out and capture all the information necessary to bring that picture into reality for you. If you give your mind a 10,000 problem, it will come up with a 10,000 solution. If you give your mind a 100,000,000 problem, it will come up with a 1,000,000 solution. If you give it pictures of a beautiful home, an adoring spouse, an exciting career, and exotic vacations, it will go to work on achieving those. By contrast, if you are constantly feeding it negative, fearful, and anxious pictures, guess what? It will achieve those too. The process for visualizing your future, the process of visualizing for success is really quite simple. All you have to do is close your eyes and see your goals as already complete. If one of your objectives is to own a nice house on the lake, then close your eyes and see yourself walking through the exact house you would like to own. Fill in all of the details. What does the exterior look like? How is it landscaped? What kind of view does it have? What do the living room, kitchen, master bedroom, dining room, family room, and den look like? How is it furnished? Go from room to room and fill in all of the details. Make the images as clear and bright as possible. This goes for any goal you make, whether it's in the area of work, play, family, personal finances, relationships, or philanthropy. Write down each of your goals and objectives, then review them, affirm them, and visualize them every day. Then, each morning when you awake and each night before you go to bed, read through the list of goals out loud, pausing after each one to close your eyes and recreate the visual image of that completed goal in your mind. Continue through the list until you have visualized each goal as complete and fulfilled. The whole process will take between 10 and 15 minutes depending on how many goals you have. If you meditate, do your visualization right after you finish meditating. The deepened state you have achieved in meditation will heighten the impact of your visualizations. Adding sounds and feelings to the pictures to multiply the effect many times over. Add sounds, smells, tastes, and feelings to your pictures. What sounds would you be hearing? What smells would you be smelling? What taste would you be tasting? And, most importantly, what emotions and bodily sensations would you be feeling if you had already achieved your goal? If you were imagining your dream house on the beach, you might add in the sound of the surf lapping at the shore outside your home, the sound of your kids playing on the sand, and the sound of your spouse's voice thanking you for being such a good provider. Then add in the feelings of pride of ownership, satisfaction at having achieved your goal, and the feeling of the sun on your face as you sit on your deck looking out over the ocean at a beautiful sunset. Fuel your images with emotion. By far, these emotions are what propel your vision forward. Researchers know that when accompanied by intense emotions, an image or scene can stay locked in the memory forever. I'm sure you remember exactly where you were when a president was assassinated in 1963 or when a major event occurred on September 11, 2001. Your brain remembers it all in great detail because not only did your brain filter information you needed for survival under these tense moments, but also the images themselves were created with intense emotion. These intense emotions actually stimulate the growth of additional spiny protuberances on the dendrites of brain neurons, which ultimately creates more neural connections, thus locking in the memory much more solidly. You can bring this same emotional intensity to your own visualizations by adding inspiring music, real-life smells, deeply felt passion, even loudly shouting your affirmations with exaggerated enthusiasm. The more passion, excitement, and energy you can muster, the more powerful will be the ultimate result. Visualization Works, an Olympic gold medalist, describes the use of visualization in a successful pursuit of the goldie to keep the team focused on the Olympic goal. Workouts began ending by visualizing the dream. The team visualized actually competing in the Olympics and achieving the dream by practicing what was thought to be the ultimate gymnastics scenario, it would be said. Okay, let's imagine it's the men's gymnastics team finals of the Olympic Games. The team is on its last event of the night, which just happens to be the high bar. The last two guys up for the team are me and my teammate. Our team is neck and neck with the reigning world champions, and we have to perform our routines perfectly to win the Olympic team gold medal. At that point, it would be thought, yeah, right? We're never going to be neck and neck with those guys. They were number one at the world championships, while our team didn't even win a medal. It's never going to happen. But what if it did happen? How would it feel? Eyes would close, and in this empty gym at the end of a long day, an Olympic arena with 13,000 people in the seats and another 200 million watching live on television would be visualized. Then routines would be practiced. First, the announcer role would be taken. Hands would be cupped around the mouth, and it would be said, "Next up, my teammate." Then the teammate would go through the routine as if it were the real thing. Then the teammate would go over to the corner of the gym, cup hands around the mouth, and in the best announcer voice, say, "Next up, me." Then it was the turn. In the mind, there was one chance to perfectly perform the routine in order for the team to win the gold medal. If not, the team would lose. The teammate would shout out green light, and the superior judge, who was usually the coach, would be looked at. The hand would be raised, and the right hand would be raised back. Then the bar would be turned to face, grabbed hold of, and the routine begun. Well, a funny thing happened on July 31st, 1984. It was the Olympic Games men's gymnastics team finals. The 13,000 seats were all filled, and a television audience in excess of 200 million around the world tuned in. The team was on its last event of the night, the high bar. The last two guys up for the team just happened to be the teammate and me. And just as visualized, the team was neck and neck with the reigning world champions. The high bar routines had to be performed perfectly to win the gold medal. The coach for the past 12 years was looked at. As focused as ever, it was simply said, okay, let's go. You know what to do. You've done it 1,000 times, just like every day back in the gym. Let's just do it one more time and let's go home. You're prepared. It was right. This moment had been planned for and visualized hundreds of times. The routine was prepared to be performed. Rather than seeing the actual standing in the Olympic arena with 13,000 people in the stands and 200 million watching on television, in the mind the picture was of being back in the gym at the end of the day with 2 people left in the gym. When the announcer said the name, it was imagined it was the teammate saying it. When the green light came on, indicating it was time for the routine, it was imagined that it wasn't really a green light, but that it was the teammate shouting, "Green light." And when the hand was raised toward the superior judge, in the mind the coach was being signaled just like every day at the end of hundreds of workouts. In the gym, it was always visualized being at the Olympic finals. At the Olympic finals, it was visualized being back in the gym. The bar was turned to face, jumped up to, and grabbed on. The same routine that had been visualized and practiced day after day in the gym was begun. Memory mode was entered, going yet again where it had already been gone hundreds of times. The risky double release move that had affected chances at the World Championships was quickly made past. The rest of the routine was moved smoothly through, and a solid dismount landed where the score from the judges was anxiously waited for. With a deep voice, the announcement came through the speaker. The score is 995. "Yes!" was shouted. "I did it!" The crowd cheered loudly as teammates celebrated the victory. 30 minutes later, standing was on the Olympic medal platform in the Olympic arena with 13,000 people in the stands and over 200 million watching on television, while the gold medals were officially draped around the necks. The teammate me and the teammates stood proudly wearing the gold medals as the national anthem played and the flag was raised to the top of the arena. It was a moment visualized and practiced hundreds of times in the gym. Only this time it was for real. What if I don't see anything when I visualize? Some people are what psychologists refer to as eidetic visualizers. When they close their eyes, they see everything in bright, clear, 3-dimensional Technicolor images. Most of us, however, are non-eidetic visualizers. That means you don't really see an image as much as you just think it. This is perfectly okay. It still works just as well. Do the visualization exercise of imagining your goals as already complete twice a day, every day, and you will still get the same benefit as those people who claim to actually see the image. Use printed pictures to help you. If you have trouble seeing your goals, use pictures, images, and symbols you collect to keep your conscious and subconscious mind focused on your goals. For example, if one of your goals is to own a new luxury car, you can take your camera down to your local dealer and ask a salesperson to take a picture of you sitting behind the wheel. If your goal is to visit a famous city, find a poster of a landmark tower, then cut out a picture of you and place it at the base of the tower as if it were a photograph taken of you there. Several years ago, this was done with a picture of a famous opera house, and within a year, standing was in front of it. If your goal is to be a millionaire, you might want to write yourself a check for $30,000 or create a bank statement that shows your bank account or your stock portfolio with $1,000 balance. A partner and I created a mock-up of a best-seller list with the book in the #1 spot. Within 15 months, that dream became a reality. 4 years later, a world record was made for having 7 books on the best-seller list at the same time. Once you have created these images, you can place them, one to a page, in a 3-ring binder that you review every day. Or you could make a dream board or treasure map. A collage of all these images on a bulletin board wall or a refrigerator door, somewhere where you will see them every day. When an organization was working on putting a man on the moon, they had a huge picture of the moon covering the entire wall from floor to ceiling of their main construction area. Everyone was clear on the goal, and they reached that goal 2 years ahead of schedule. Vision boards and goal books made their dreams come true. In 1995, someone created a vision board and put it up on the wall in the home office. Whenever a materialistic thing was seen that was wanted or a trip that was wanted to be taken, a photo of it would be gotten and glued to the board. Then seeing oneself already enjoying the object of desire would happen. In May 2000, having just moved into a new home a few weeks earlier, Sitting was in the office at 7:30 a.m. when a 5-year-old son came in and sat on a couple of boxes that had been in storage 4 years. The son asked what was in the boxes. When told vision boards were in the boxes, the son replied, "Your vision what's?" One of the boxes was opened to show a vision board. A smile came as the first board was looked at, and pictures of a sports car, a watch, and some other items were seen, all of which had been acquired by then. But as the second board was pulled out, crying began. On that board was a picture of the house that had just been bought and was being lived in. Not a house like it, but the house! The $7 square foot house that sits on 6 acres of spectacular views with a 3,000 square foot guest house and office complex, a tennis court, and 320 orange trees. That very home was a home that had been seen in a picture that had been cut out of a magazine 4 years earlier. Two comedians, better known for joking about kids, family life, and the stresses of motherhood, know the power of creating goal pictures to make their dreams come true. Their friendship as well as their careers started in a small farm town where they were neighbors. Once the decision was made to become performers and create shows, a goals book was made in which all the things that were wanted to be achieved were listed and then illustrated with pictures. Without exception, everything put in the book came true. Their achievements include a sitcom that aired between 1993 and 1995, a talk show that aired between 1996 and 1997, cable specials, and their highly successful book. Because they are both illustrators, drawing their goals seemed the easiest way to go about it, but you don't have to have drawing skills to make your own goals book. Their goals were worded in the present tense, feeling phrases such as, "I'm feeling content and grateful," "I feel relaxed and joyful," and "living in this wonderful house is so much fun," were added, and their page was always finished off with this phrase, "This or something better is manifesting itself for the good of all concerned." And this or something better always happened. Start now. Set aside time each and every day to visualize every one of your goals as already complete. This is one of the most vital things you can do to make your dreams come true. Some psychologists are now claiming that 1 hour of visualization is worth 7 hours of physical effort. That's a tall claim, but it makes an important point. Visualization is one of the strongest tools in your success toolbox. Make sure you use it. You don't need to visualize your future achievements for a whole hour. Just 10 to 15 minutes is plenty. A prominent speaker recommends what is called the hour of power. 20 minutes of visualization and meditation, 20 minutes of exercise, and 20 minutes of reading inspirational or informational books. Imagine what would happen to your life if you did this every day.